What is up, all my dorks, nerds, geeks, and gamers? It's your host, Ghost here, and today you're watching a brand new episode of Dorks Movie Minute. We are going to continue on with our Loki series coverage. Today we are on episode 6. For All Time Always, this is the very last episode of the season, of season 1, but it is confirmed to be getting a season 2, so I'm very excited to see where the series can go continuing with the storyline. But yeah, let's hop right in, see what happened this episode, and see what we thought of the episode and what kind of themes and elements they put in the episode, and what our thoughts are on everything overall. So starting off, Loki and Sylvie find the temple at the end of time after they take down this monster and they enchant it and open the portal that we saw at the end of last episode. They go through and they see this very cool temple. I love the set design. I love the eerie feeling they have when they walk through it. The doors open by themselves, kind of like they were meant to be there. They have these very ominous statues all around the citadel. And as Sylvie and Loki are kind of prepping up to go in, they kind of, neither of them want to do it, but they decide they kind of have to end the journey and kind of see where it goes from here. So they end up going in, and just then, in the center of the citadel, Miss Minutes kind of interrupts them and gives them an offer, saying someone wants to meet you. He who remains wants to meet you. He wants to make you guys an offer. Will you take this offer? Will you not? Loki and Sylvie are confused. They're kind of debating back and forth depending on what the offer is. And just then they run into King the Conqueror, or He Who Remains, or Nathaniel Richards, or whatever you want to call him. Because as we learn, he has basically been the leader of the TVA the whole time. He has been the timekeeper that has been keeping the main sacred MCU timelines straight for this whole time. And he's also the one that is kind of behind the events of Infinity War and Endgame. And he kind of dictates who is right and who's wrong when it comes to time travel in the MCU. And he kind of explains all this to Loki and Sylvie as they're kind of bewildered, trying to figure out what's going on. At the same time, Sylvie really wants to kill Kang, but she decides not to for the time being till they hear him out. But as the conversation goes on, she gets increasingly more and more angry. And that does have a payoff at the very end of the episode for the MCU's future in general. So yeah, we cut off there where Kang is sitting at this desk kind of explaining him what the multiverse is, how there are multiple versions of this character of He Who Remains, who is other versions of King the Conqueror, who will go through time and eliminate other realities they don't see fit for their timeline. So he kind of explains all of this, how the multiverse works, how the branching timelines in the MCU's main timeline will work, and how other shows that use the multiverse and movies fit into this grand narrative that the MCU is trying to tell. That is all told by King the Conqueror in this episode. It's all very well done. Jonathan Majors, the guy that plays Kang, very well done. It looks like it's the end of his character at the end of this season 1 episode, but I promise you guys, Kang will be back in multiple variations and multiple forms in the MCU, leading up to hopefully a Secret Wars movie, which they kind of tease here as well with the multiversal war that was going on. So yeah, very excited for what they do with the character in the future. But after that, King finally makes the offer to Loki and Sylvie, where he kind of says, I'm getting old, I'm kind of tired of this, and I need someone to take over the timeline. If you guys do this, you can be in whatever timeline you want, you can be together, you can be happy. But Sylvie is still very angry for her being taken away from her original timeline and being pruned, or being put away in the TVA cells for the most part, being a variant, and having to run away for her whole life. So she decides not to take the offer. She decides she wants to kill Kang. Loki confronts her and tries to stop her. They have a very epic battle with them going back and forth because it's very emotional for both characters to want to fight each other over this one thing. But at the very end, Sylvie ends up succeeding. She does end up killing He Who Remains. She ends up stabbing him right in the chest. And he kind of laughs it off, and he kind of predicted all this would happen anyway. And just then, Loki gets pruned from Sylvie, I believe. He got pruned. I don't remember if he died or what happened. But he wakes up in the TVA where it's kind of reset, where Kang is now in charge, which is like blatantly in charge. And no one remembers who he is, including Mobius and some of the other characters. So it's a very nice setup for Season 2, where they're going to take it. How does Doctor Strange and Multiverse of Madness fit into this? How does Spider-Man No Way Home fit into this? We'll have to wait and see when those movies come out. But I'm very excited for Phase 4 of the MCU and where they're taking the multiverse and these different timelines. And I thought Loki, as a series, worked really well with Tom Hiddleston as the lead. And the storylines they told within that definition of who Loki as a character was. I love the character of Sylvie, and I love the character of King the Conqueror, and the backstory they had with the TVA and Mobius. So far, Loki series has been my favorite MCU series of all of them so far. We'll have to see how Marvel's What If does before I put that in the ranking meter. But yeah, Loki, the whole series has been great. This episode in general, for all time always, I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10. It is a very solid episode. It needed a little bit more action for me to give it a 10 out of 10, but there was enough action there to satisfy my need there for action scenes. But it was a lot of talking, a lot of exposition, and a lot of explaining for most of the whole episode, and that's kind of why it lost a point for me. If it was a little bit more moved at a steadier pace, because the pacing was kind of slow, I think it would have did a lot better as a single storytelling episode. But yeah, that's my thoughts on Loki, guys. This is the final episode of the Loki series. Stay tuned, though, because we will be doing Season 2 when it drops. And we are also doing Marvel's What If episodes. And we also did WandaVision and Falcon and Winter Soldier. So if you guys have not seen those episodes yet, check them out up down below, up above, to the left or right, wherever they are on the screen. Check them out, guys. I've been your host, Ghost. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Leave your comments down below. Like, subscribe, and share. And as always, keep it right here on Dorkston. I've been your host, Ghost. Adios, guys.